So one day I was wondering how expensive it was to register a trademark in the UK 100 years ago. And during my search, I found out something completely unexpected. So you might be wondering how expensive it was to register a trademark on the peak of the British Empire. So the actual price to file a trademark in the UK, in the British Empire, in 1890s was just 5 shillings. And to get it registered, you needed to pay 10 more shillings. And you might be wondering, how much was it? Like, what was the actual price of 5 shillings if we compare it to the today prices? And during my search, I found out that actually there is a very easy way to compare those prices, because 5 shillings was almost equal in weight to 1 ounce of silver. And during the search, I found out something very, very, very interesting. Actually, to get your trademark registered in the UK 130 years ago would cost you 3 ounces of silver, more or less. And if we go a little bit forward to the year 1914, just before the World War I, you will find out that the prices increased, and now the price to register a trademark was 1 quid, 1 British pound. And you might be wondering, how expensive was this 1 pound just before the World War I? And the response is, it was around 3 ounces of silver. So to register your trademark in the UK before World War I would cost you 3 ounces of silver. And here I have them. Just 3 ounces of silver. That was the price to register a trademark in the UK. We'll go forward. So after World War I, after World War II, in 1950s, the price was still, you would guess it, 1 British pound, 1 quid. Right now, you can't buy a coffee in London for 1 quid, but back then, you could buy, you already guessed right, 3 ounces of silver. That was the price, 3 ounces of silver. Let's go to the date which we have today, 2026, January. And if you check the price of getting a trademark in the UK, it's £170, which equals 3 ounces of silver, once again. So that's a funny thing, you know, like getting your trademark registered in the UK during the last 130 years would cost you 3 ounces of silver. The price did not change, but the currency experienced an immense devaluation from being able to buy, for instance, of silver for just 1 pound, and now you need to spend more than 170 pounds to get them registered. The price fluctuates greatly, so I don't know what is the actual price when you will be watching this video. And it makes me wondering, because 3 ounces of silver is not that much for a business. It's just like this, not much. And you get a trademark registered for 10 years for this small amount. That's curious, isn't it? Your intellectual property can be protected for a very long period of time for this very, very, very small amount. And you could do this not only today, but 100 years before this. There won't be any conclusions from this video. I won't be telling you like, yeah, registering a trademark is cheap because it costs just 3 ounces of silver. But it depends on your business. The value of your brand probably is greater than this, but you can decide this for yourself. You don't need my advice about this. What I wanted to tell you is that actually the value which is in those coins, it did not change that much. You still can afford getting a trademark with having just 3 coins. That's a funny thing if you think about this. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.